Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I've had enough of this series.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Critters 4, which came out in 1992, written and directed by Rupert Harvey. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis for the final Critters movie?
Well, at the end of Critters 3, we had seen that Charlie had been sent a probe by the Intergalactic Council to pick up the last two Krite eggs in the universe. Charlie accidentally falls inside the probe and is sealed inside for at least half a century before being woken up on a space station by a group of scavengers that have retrieved the probe. The Krites escape and the film ends.
No, you are pretty right with the very short synopsis. This was a film that I'd never managed to see. I'd seen the original three Critters movies. You could go to your rental shop and they would always have the first three Critters films.
Yeah.
They would never have the fourth one.
No.
And you'd wonder why.
Yeah, big poster of them in space. And you're like, oh,
I want to see that. Because, you'd see the trailer for it on the other rentals that you'd had. But never could find it.
No. This is the first time I have ever seen Critters 4. It has been on my to-do list for years, but as the years have passed, all I've heard, I heard a lot of negative press, and then I heard nothing. I mean, it would be rare if I could find somebody other than Gary to go, hey, have you seen Critters 4? They'd be like, what's Critters? And it's funny that you bring up the other three movies, because I've sat through those three, and I didn't like the second, and I really didn't like the third. Fuck me, would I easily watch either one of those over this one? Knowing full well that at the end of number 3, we had that over the credits sequence of Charlie finding the last two eggs and being sent the probe, and knowing that the third movie was filmed at the exact same time that they were filming the fourth movie, you're just like, right, okay, so this is how the film just starts. Charlie is walking around the basement again. He comes across the two eggs. He speaks to Ugg, who tells him that there are the last two eggs in existence, and well, we don't see the probe come in like at the end of number 3. It just cuts. Yeah. And Charlie climbs inside the probe. Now, man, I kind of want to like Donkey Opper. He's kind of, for me, the Reggie character for Critters.
Well, I kind of liked Charlie in the first film. He kind of worked.
Yeah.
Charlie in the second film, nope. Charlie in the third film, nope. He just gets in the way. He's annoying. He's stupid. And he accidentally saves the day. It's like,
yeah, and he bumbles his way into the probe.
Yeah.
I mean, who designs this probe? It must have been like a trap. They must have been trying to trap him, because it's designed in a way that he has to climb inside to put the eggs into their little safety places. But he has to lie down inside the probe to do that, which automatically closes the door.
I'm just guessing that Charlie is so stupid that he probably accidentally triggered the probe to close him in there.
Yeah.
And then he starts panicking and hitting all the buttons, which is probably why it gets sent off in a completely different trajectory to where it was supposed to go, resulting in him being lost in space for half a century. You know what? I'm just having a problem right from the get-go of this film anyway, when the Intergalactic Council goes, these are the last two eggs of the Critters, and I'm like, how the fuck do you know that?
Because
there were eggs on Earth for 2 years, and you had no idea they were there.
Yeah.
So now you know that these are the last two eggs? Bullshit.
Do I try and defend it? I mean, they could easily scan the universe with technology and be like, oh, we've been keeping track of them. I really don't know, because it comes up with that shitty fucking...
Those eggs were only just laid at the end of the third film, so...
I know, dude, but that shitty title sequence comes up, Critters 4, boom, and I'm like... And then we cut to the ship with the scavengers in. We have the amazing Brad Dourif in this, playing Albert. Actually, his first name is Al and his last name is Bert.
He was great as Thin Bookish Man.
Yeah, he was. He seems to be able to recover any crappy fucking script and make it sound good. I could just... if he was just in a really shitty horror movie, just him, like in a room, just reading off script, I could easily watch that for an hour and a half. In this, he's chewing in pretty much all of his fucking scenes, and it's fucking horrible. It's like he doesn't care.
You can tell exactly what they were trying to emulate. Alien. You know?
Yeah.
Everyday Joes in space doing their job.
Yeah.
Must be one of them subsection power lines shorting out in the condensation. Go.
We have the gorgeous Angela Bassett
Yes.
playing Fran, the pilot of the ship. This is one of her really fucking early performances.
Definitely.
Weirdly enough, she doesn't even look like how she looks later on.
I recently saw her in Black Panther, but she's also very good in the American Horror Story anthology horror series.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, at this stage, she doesn't look like she has a fucking experience life behind her and all the acting knowledge that she could garner. She looks like she's just like, this is my first job.
But she still has some film presence, even in Critters 4.
In the shower. We have Anders Ho playing Captain Rick. He was in the
Subspecies. He was the
series.
main creature in all 4
That's
Subspecies
gonna come
films.
back and bite me in the ass, isn't it? I see what I did there. And we're gonna end up doing that fucking series at some point. He was a good actor. We've got Paul Whitmore playing Ethan, another good actor.
Actor. This is his only film credit.
That's what I mean. I mean, he plays this young lad who's on board the ship and is waiting to get back to Earth so he can see his dad, and we're supposed to fucking care.
How did he get here? What is his role on the ship other than everyone's whipping boy? Is he a relation to somebody? Did they just pick him up?
Yeah.
Is he paying to be transported somewhere?
I kind of felt like he was, what's that young lad called in Treasure Island, who fucking helps the captain. Like you said, he's kind of like the deck boy who fucking just does every menial job. He helps the engineering, he helps the fucking tech guys. He's running around after Captain, my Captain, Captain Rick, you asshole. I'm just gonna call him Captain Asshole. I like that when Angela Bassett called him that.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Captain Asshole.
He sits there, and they find the probe. And they're really happy about it because they're going to make some cash. And then somebody mentions that it's got the Intergalactic Council's symbol on the side of it, but it's all rusted. And they discuss briefly, about why the Intergalactic Council was dissolved.
Before they dissolve?
Yeah, the old logo.
Ah, come on, who cares?
This Intergalactic Council was prominent at the end of number 3. These are the last 2 eggs. And then they just go and lose for 50 odd years in space. They lose 2 of the most dangerous fucking items in the universe. Just lose. And now they've been dissolved. And we have the Terror Corps, headed up by Councillor Tetra, played by Terrence Mann.
Now, is Terrence Mann playing Ugg, or is he playing this new Chancellor? Or is Ugg the Chancellor now? Or is it another shape-shifting alien that's put on Ugg's face, who's Johnny Steele from the pop band from Critters? What's going on?
You and your crew for locating something we lost a long time ago and frankly thought we'd never retrieve.
I was imagining this. I did a lot of imagining while I was watching this film because nothing much else happens.
Nothing can hold your interest in this film.
No.
Not even the goddamn Krites, and they take an age to appear in this film.
And there's only 2 of them for fucking an hour and 20 minutes of the film. But I tried to imagine that the Galactic Council had been dissolved because of...
How inept they are.
Well, because of Ugg. Yeah.
Right.
Because of Ugg. I put this all together at the end of the film. What if Ugg after the death of Lee, had felt that the Intergalactic Council wasn't taking the safety of bounty hunters too hard. And so obviously argued with them that they weren't doing their job to protect not only themselves, the bounty hunters, or the universe themselves. That the Intergalactic Council was dissolved, and UG ended up making the Terror Corps, constructing this corporation of bounty hunters, trying to obviously keep planets in check. Because ultimately that's what they're wanting the Krite eggs for.
Why do they want the Krite eggs again?
Right. Once the scavengers get aboard the space station, which is in disrepair, has been abandoned, has got a nuclear core which is about to go fucking nova on their asses, they're told by Terrence Mann to wait there and he will come and retrieve the Krite eggs. And while they're there, they are checking the file logs for Dr. McCormick, the only person to leave their ID lying around on the very floor that the crew were on. And they see the vidlog, and she shows them this device that you keep seeing pop up in the movie that is doing something to this weird hand alien puppet thing.
Shaking it violently, that seems to be all it's doing.
To the point...
Or making it grow.
Yeah, to the point that the creature develops into an adult size quickly and can be used now. She says about how it can be used to be dropped onto a target to wipe out whatever's there, and then they can colonize that planet. But they need a creature that can self-replicate. Well, luckily somebody brought some Krites on board.
Our force maturity tests with the metabolic accelerator have proven most successful.
But the Krites and that technology doesn't even meet.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. At like an hour and 15-minute mark, when Ethan is looking to kill the very last Krite, it is in there, and it's put one of the babies inside the machine and has made it grow, and then it uses that. I've literally just skipped an hour and 20 of this movie to one of the most interesting parts. Because everything building up to that is just fucking... Well, I want to say it's shit, but they find Charlie. And Rick lets out the 2 Krite eggs.
Well, I mean, when Charlie gets rescued, aren't the Krite eggs already broken and hatched inside?
Yeah. Rick had shot the pod with his super laser gun and burnt everything, and the eggs had quickly hatched. Please, wait, do not talk about the time it takes to incubate a creature, please. I don't know if I can stand that again. But the Krite eggs hatch, and the 2 Krites attack Rick. I'm going to just do it. Fuck it, I'm just going to do it now, dude. This is my favourite scene. This was my favourite scene, where the Krite lands in Rick's mouth, and just... You imagine him chewing his way into his gut. He doesn't actually go any further into Anders Hove's mouth.
At some points you can see the little legs kicking,
move, yeah.
But for the most part they don't move at all, and it just becomes so obvious that it is a puppet.
Yeah.
And then he also has another puppet on his arm, which keeps banging into a wall. And the critter's eyes, no reaction to it. The legs, it's not moving at all. It seems dead.
It's like they wasted all of their budget on Frank's death in number 3, which was actually really violent and gory. You know, this Rick's death is nothing. It gets worse, but it's nothing compared to like the dad's attack in the very first movie, the very first one.
Well, I mean, the Krites don't even use their poison darts in this film. Not once. It's like they forgot they have that ability. Or maybe it was something to do with the cryostasis.
And the screaming. They don't have the screaming either to alert
Well,
people.
I mean, they replicate what happened in the second film when one of the Krites has his hair shot off by a laser beam and it kind of screams. But yeah, even the critters' voices in this film just sound cartoonish, even compared to the previous films.
Yeah. But the Krites now hide for fucking ages while the crew are doing their alien thing and trying to find out where they are, and also trying to get off the space station.
And also trying to fix the computer who's malfunctioning.
Yeah, you have to do everything opposite.
Yeah. If Brad Dourif's character realizes you have to use reverse psychology on the computer in order to get anything done.
Like his ex-wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But Ethan meets up with Charlie, and they end up getting stuck in a garbage chute.
Where have I seen that before?
Yeah.
Now, I I kind of found it funny for like a moment.
Yeah.
Where, you know, they're trying to get the computer to release them, and she's like, no, you know, if you're in the garbage chute, you're garbage.
I am not sequenced to respond to the requests or demands of waste material.
We're not waste material!
So you're going to get wasted off into space. And they have to use reverse psychology to make her stop venting them into space before they get into an air vent and escape.
It's kind of like pre-GLaDOS.
Yeah.
She was kind of like GLaDOS. I only thought that now. I wasn't thinking it when I was watching
See, the previous 3 Critters movies all have comedy in them. It's like one of the main things, especially with the first one. It's that dark, wry humour.
Well, they have to have that balance. In the first one, you had the horror balanced with the kind of black comedy.
Yeah.
And that's why my problem with the second one is it went slapstick, which is nothing compared to the comedy in the first one.
Well, I mean, like I said, the bounty hunters reverse driving the police car in the first one. It's stupid comedy.
That's aliens not knowing how to drive.
Yeah, I know.
You
So
know, but it's still black comedy with the fact that he's a zombie.
Yeah.
You know, in the second one we got a giant fucking furball that rolls over people like piranhas, and in the third one we got that woman hanging off the fucking building. You know, in this one, the closest I could get to a joke in this one was where Charlie looks at Ethan and says, "Are you human?" And Ethan's like, "Why? What else would I be?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, because he could be a shape-shifting bounty hunter."
You an alien? What do you... No.
So Bernie, one of the crew members, decides that he's going to go and steal all the drugs from the pharmacy because they've got the key card for it and he can do that. And so he's told by Brad Dourif's character that the Kreitz are on their way and that he should get out of there. And Bernie doesn't.
He drops his bag and the pills go everywhere. And so he painstakingly spends ages trying to sweep them into his bag.
Until the Kreitz turn up and attack him. And it's even worse than Rick's death, actually. It's probably... I want to say it's the worst death in all of the films, but...
It's definitely one of the worst.
Yeah, it's up there with the Easter Bunny suit.
Did you recognise the actor from anywhere?
No.
No. He's got, you know, he worked behind the scenes on a few different films, but I do remember he was the medic in Starship Troopers. That's where he ended up.
They had medics in Starship Troopers?
Yeah. There's more fodder for the bugs.
The critters use the computer on the space station to access the scavenger ship so that they can get it prepped to go to Earth, which kind of proves my theory from the first video.
They are quite smart because Charlie even mentions that the Kreitz are not consuming the flesh of their victims.
No.
They're moving on almost immediately so that they have some agenda. And that is that the Kreitz want to get back to Earth.
Yeah, because I feel like because there's only 2 of them, they're trying to, you know, to breed quickly so that they can overwhelm everything. And Earth is obviously they kind of like Earth. But one of them sneaks on board the ship just as the scavengers are about to escape, and Charlie, in his amazing ability, decides to fire at it in the cockpit. You know, and fucking destroys... Well, he doesn't even destroy the ship. He destroys some kind of panel that they can't fix, which means the entire ship is now unusable. Wow. That's...
Surprised the ship lasted this long then.
Yeah. So now the crew are sitting around because they're waiting for TerraCore to turn up. And I'm sat there, and this is an hour and 15 minutes into the film, and I'm thinking, 2 people have fucking died and nothing has happened. I'm really hoping that when TerraCore turns up, it all kicks off. But it doesn't. TerraCore turns up and Councillor Tetra, Ugg, we're still not entirely sure, turns up and shoots Albert in the stomach when he won't let them on board.
Well, that's me out of the film.
Yep, Brad Dourif just died. So now he threatens to kill Angela Bassett unless they can bring him the Krite eggs. He doesn't know that the Krites have obviously started breeding and have started using that machine I was discussing about to make themselves larger very quickly. And Ethan runs off and he's gotten emotional because Albert has died and he's missing his father and there's some other fucking trauma going on. The film doesn't tell you anything, but
no.
He uses the space station's computer to lure all the armed guards into the laboratory with all the Krites. And we hear them get attacked.
We don't even see it.
No. What we do see is that horrible POV shot from the guy's helmet.
Yeah.
Which has got like a meter counter in the corner. And I'm like, ha, you tried to steal that from Aliens and it didn't work.
Right.
But they're all dead. And Charlie is desperately, with all the grace of 4 Critters movies behind him, trying to use all of his acting ability to convince Ugg to let them go. And we're still unsure if it's Ugg or if it's just somebody who looks like him, or if it is Johnny Steele. Could be Johnny Steele.
Actually, the Ugg recognises Charlie, though, or at least gives the impression that he does, which would suggest it is the Ugg bounty hunter from the previous films.
Is that the Things Change line?
Yeah.
That's what made me think it was Ugg who'd taken over the council and was trying to take over the universe.
Yeah.
But the film doesn't tell you that.
You'd think if he was going to take over the council, he would just put on the face of the council members or the leader and covered it up or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they obviously the actor, it's Terrence Mann. Hey, remember Terrence Mann from Critters 1? Yeah. But they have a bit of a standoff because Ethan turns up with the eggs and starts
juggling them.
And he drops a couple of the eggs and Angela Bassett's character knocks Ugg out with the pistol.
Well, yeah, I mean, she notices that Ethan's stored the gun in his back and stands in front of her so she can grab the gun as he throws the final egg, which gives her a chance to take him out.
And they all get on board. Oh, wait, no, they don't, because Ethan decides that he's going to drag the film out 5 minutes longer by going back to Brad Dourif's body to pick up the glasses to remember him by. And Ugg has now woken up. I didn't see that coming.
No.
And sticks a gun to his head and says, I'm going to fucking kill you. And Charlie and Ugg have their final confrontation. And using the same line that Ugg had used on him, Charlie says, things change, and shoots Ugg in the forehead, killing him.
Yep.
I believe. He's an alien creature. I'm not even sure if that works.
I think that would probably work, but it was just the fact that these two have kind of had some chemistry at least. These characters have known each other for, like 56 years or so.
Yeah, the only movie they had chemistry in was the first one.
And now it just ends like this. And it's like, this is so insulting to fans that have made it this far in your franchise.
Yeah.
To have this be its climax. It's like, it's not...
No, that's not the climax.
Oh, wait, are there still some Krites left in the film?
No, so they're about to go nuclear. Everybody escapes onto...
No, there is one Krite that comes running at them and they stick a pipe in its mouth and freeze it. That was the last Krite. And then he kicks it over and it shatters in the corner.
I'm done arguing about this film. They fucking get on board the scavenger ship. They fly off. Angela Bassett turns to Charlie and says, hey, don't press anything. So what does Charlie go and fucking do? Presses a button. And I don't even know if the film ends like funny because he pressed the button and it's been out of control, or if I'm supposed to be, worried because he might be getting them into another fucking crappy...
Or it was the fact that they reused the spaceship scenes from Critters 2 and just went, well, the ship flies at a wonky position, so we'll just have to come up with an excuse as to why the ship's doing that. How about it's Charlie pushes the random blinking red button?
What was with the sunglasses?
What was with this film? This film left me, like, comatose, Like, this is what the film made me feel like.
Oh, somebody kill me, please! Somebody kill me, please!
See? That is what will happen to you if you watch Critters 4.
On my knees! Pretty, please! Kill me!
I have one favourite scene in this movie. I tried to get a few, I even tried to really enjoy Brad Dourif's acting throughout this movie, but he was chewing a lot, and it really put me off. Funny, in a Critters movie, he's chewing. The Critters fly at Rick's mouth and burrow its way through.
Not very far.
No, but that's about it. It was just a funny and make-up effect.
It was funny. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to be. Oh, favourite scenes. Oh. You know, if there was any favourite scenes or memorable sequences, it was the computer. the station's AI.
Really?
Because that was the only things that kind of made me laugh. And it was only because I was imagining this sort of malfunction occurring on, like, say, Star Trek. You know, when you get onto an elevator and you say which floor, or you can't remember which floor it's on, and so the computer is just being very specific. You have to give very specific coordinates to what floor you want to go to.
No.
And so the elevator just keeps going up and down because he doesn't know which cargo bay floor he needs to get off on.
That shit works so much better in Red Dwarf.
Yeah, you know, I thought about how much better the effects are on Red Dwarf compared to Critters 4. And and then they get stuck in the garbage chute, and then towards the end of the film, Charlie or Ethan's talking to the computer, and the computer's just like, no, I'm sorry, I don't take orders from garbage. Because the computer still classifies them as being, you know, garbage. Yeah, I'm really struggling for favourite scenes here. The Krites get no favourite sequences. They do nothing memorable. All they do is regurgitate what we've seen in the previous films done poorly. It was like, you know, we said that Critters 3 and 4 were shot back to back. Any last ideas that they had all went into 3, and 4 just got what was left over.
Yeah. Rushed,
It probably would have been so much better if they'd just cancelled doing number 4 and put that budget into 3.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have saved that film instead of just having 2 really awful films.
And then even if you still left it with the to be continued, the fans would have been like, oh my god, yeah, let's go. And then with a bigger budget come back and done a better film.
Yeah, it seems very unlikely we'll get a continuation of this series.
No, they're going to remake it.
It'll be a remake, reboot,
it.
soft reboot, something.
I don't think I've ever felt good about saying this, but I can't wait for them to remake it.
Really?
Really, seriously. If Critters 1 is a fucking classic.
It's a cult classic.
Really, really good. And we can drone on about the second, third, and fourth movie for as long as we want, but you could shove all 3 of those films together and make a good remake. Or you
have the critters start off in a small town, let them expand into the area, let them get into an urban area.
Let them fucking eat.
Yes,
Just let them fucking eat.
Need a feeding frenzy.
Look what they did with Piranha and Piranha 3DD. As stupid as those films are, you still fucking laugh your ass off. You would do the exact same thing with Critters.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, have them crash land into a small fucking town after a weird alien opening. Maybe a spring break where you got a load of fucking teens. They're all at a camp. Hi, it's a camp. They're all going to get eaten, you know? And just have the critters, I don't care if it's CGI or prosthetic effects, just have them eat fucking everything in sight.
Well, I mean, there is a Gremlins soft reboot coming in the works, and you know, Critters came out shortly after Gremlins, so maybe the cycle will continue.
Yes. Because if I fucking ever have to watch Critters 2, 3 or 4 ever again, I will just fuck off. Just fuck off. I honestly, I was this close last night to just fucking looking up Tekken on the fucking internet for a laugh and using it to say, hey, I watched Tekken instead of Critters 4. But I didn't. I held back and gave Critters 4 my all. And it fucking just pissed me off. You know? Don't ever watch Critters 4. Ever. Don't ever watch it. It's like Gary said, it's insulting. Brad Dourif is good, but then tell me a film where Brad Dourif isn't good.
I've got to say, of all the appearances I've seen of Brad Dourif, this was his weakest, lamest, most forgettable performance.
But he was still better than everybody else.
He was still better than everyone else.
Even better than the Krites. And the Krites are the fucking main guys. Imagine having a Nightmare on Elm Street movie where Freddy doesn't turn up for an hour and 15 minutes and then just gets the ass kicked out of him every fucking scene. You know, you would turn it off after the first 45 minutes, and I really fucking wanted to. Don't ever watch any other Critters movie apart from the first one. Don't ever listen to anything anybody says about the second, third, or fourth movies. They are shit. Because once you get into Critters 2, you will want to watch Critters 3, and it is fucking terrible. And then once you finish Critters 3 and you see that to be continued turn up, you You've done it now. You have to watch Critters 4. And it is fucking horrible.
Yeah, you know, I share your sentiment, but Critters 1 is a classic, you know. It's gone down better than it ever should have done.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and the nostalgia and the love we have for that film, we make sure that film never gets forgotten. I enjoy parts of Critters 2. I remember it fondly. I enjoy the big ball of death.
Yeah,
You know?
that's it.
But yeah, after that, that completed Charlie and Brad's story. Critters 3 and 4 is just a mess. It's just a disaster. At least, you know, that franchise spawned Leonardo DiCaprio's career.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Critters 4 needs to be vaulted and forgotten. It's cheap. It's campy, it's devoid of any original ideas, it fails in nearly all aspects of comedy, the set is atrocious, the acting is lame, the Krites are hardly to be seen, the puppets are obvious, the music is forgettable, and the ending is fucking awful. It is a goddamn chore to get through. Avoid this film at all costs.
Don't you feel better now?
I do. But that's not the end of our Halloween-a-thon.
No.
We'll
We've
be
saved
back.
the best for last.
Definitely. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Angela, you are the stupidest machine ever built.
Thank you. But I'm not able to accept compliments from waste material.